So again, welcome, Lolu. And we're going to be talking about weathering the storms of life.
Yeah,
When I was thinking about this, Lolu, I actually thought that when we talk about storms, um, sometimes people think storms are just when maybe there's bereavement or sickness or maybe heartbreak or you lose a husband or wife or something like that. But some of those storms are external, but then
yes,
there's storms that are internal that we don't get
exactly.
to see, we don't get to talk about. And I believe that most of what you're going to be sharing today will be internal storms, right?
You're very correct. Yes,
Internal
very
storms.
correct. Yeah.
Great. But before we do that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, please, if you don't mind?
Okay. As you may probably know now, my name is Lolu Akingbe, and I am a project manager, strategy consultant, and farmer. Um, that's what I essentially do.
Okay.
Married to a fantastic wife with two marvelous children. Uh, that's basically me. That's it. That's me
That's
in a
you.
nutshell. Yeah.
That's
I'm the
good.
last child of three. I'm a Chelsea fan. I love football. I love sports. I love reading.
Chelsea.
I believe I'm a writer, but I haven't really expressed that part of me yet. But
Okay.
yeah, that's it.
What's um what's your favorite book? Let me just ask. A favorite book that you read.
Okay, so there's this book I've read like three times now. It's called Good Strategy, Bad Strategy.
Mm,
It's about strategy, basically, and it's a book I really enjoyed, and I always recommend to people when they um, want to read. Especially around strategy.
yeah.
That's more of a business development book, but one of my favorite books is actually Things Fall Apart by Chinwe Achebe.
Oh
I
yes, I
mean,
read
I've
it a long
read a
time.
lot, and it's a book that is, as life unfolds, you go back to that book and you see so many lessons, and you can draw strength and knowledge from that book.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you read? I think the last time I read Things Fall Apart was in secondary school. I haven't read it, so maybe
Okay.
I should read it again.
You should. You should. You
I
should.
should.
It's a
And then
great book.
this book that you just talked about, good strategies and bad strategies, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Who is the author?
His name is Richard Rumelt.
Richard. Richard
Yeah. Rumelt. Rumelt.
Rumelt. Rumelt.
Yeah.
Oh, Richard
It's
Rumelt.
good strategy, bad strategy. Yeah, it's a fantastic book. If you're into, it's for everybody actually, but it's a good book. I recommend it
Okay.
to anybody, anytime.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bukala, can you type that for me, please, so that anybody that wants to buy the book can right. So storms. Where do you want to start from?
Okay, let me just talk a bit about um, how I encountered storms, and you know, I'll start by giving a bit of a background of myself. But
Okay.
before that, as you mentioned, the storm.
Yeah.
I look at storms from, if you imagine a ship or a
Yeah.
boat
Yeah.
on the high seas,
Yeah.
then imagine wind, thunder, rain, tumult, the boat is swaying to and fro. There's so much uncertainty
Yeah.
and fear, all those things.
Yeah.
That's one definition of a storm.
Yes.
There's also the definition of um, if you can imagine when you're in a place, it's a common phrase in Nigeria that, or a governor storms a state or the president storms a place.
Yeah.
But in
Yeah.
military terms, if the army storm a place, they come in suddenly and take you by surprise and take you away.
Yeah.
It's traumatic,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
unexpected and very surprising.
Yeah.
So using those definitions and analogies, let me just talk a bit, and I guess we'll get to where we're need to be.
Yeah.
So basically, growing up, I was born in England, and I think when I was 10 or 11, I can't remember, we came back to, well, we came to Nigeria. I'd never been to Nigeria before.
Okay.
Yeah, so came to Nigeria. I just finished primary school,
Okay.
so I was going to secondary school. Coming to Nigeria, my dad had left us in England maybe like 2, 3 years ago. There were three kids, but my brother was in Nigeria, my sister and I were with my mom in England. So we moved back to Nigeria. As I said, I just left primary school and I was going to secondary school. I was supposed to go to secondary school, but I ended up in Nigeria. And, you know, at that point, my life, took a turn.
Okay.
I was 12, 11. I was just a boy, a kid.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, this transition happened.
Right.
And it happened so fast and so sudden that, it's triggered something in me that, stayed with me for a very long time. And
Hmm.
I'll tell you what it is.
What?
When I um, got to Lagos, this was the first time of me meeting my brother. I didn't see my dad in a while. Remember, I was 10 or 11.
Yeah.
I didn't see my dad in like 2 years. So obviously there was excitement and, I was happy.
Yeah.
But, I think I started school like 2 weeks after getting to Nigeria, and it was such a change.
Okay.
The everything was different. The school setup was different.
Yeah.
I was different. People used to laugh at me. I was the new boy. People had already formed kind of friendships and whatnot, and
Yeah.
me being the new boy was, you know, I didn't have any friends in the whole country. I just had a few cousins in
Wow.
Nigeria that I knew. But in school, I was lost
Wow.
and I was scared. And, because that I used to speak differently, people used to laugh at me. Then there were people from different demographics. We had
Yeah.
guys from the hood.
Yeah.
This was my first time of encountering such guys, and we had guys, there was a good mix. But I was a new guy and I
Yeah.
was lost and I was scared in school. And it took a lot for me, but I never ever told anybody about it.
Not even your
I don't
parents.
know.
You,
No, I just felt that I could, soldier on,
okay.
let me just blend in and get on with it. So I tried doing that and I actually did that. After a while, I started to fit in. I
Okay.
started to, become one of the boys, but it
Yeah.
was at a big price. I was actually pretending
Wow.
to be what I wasn't, to be
Okay.
who I wasn't. I was, you know, craving just to be accepted. This was in primary school,
Mm.
and I hated everybody. I hated the school. I hated my so called friends.
Mm.
I hated the people I hated. I didn't like the teachers. I didn't like anyone. But externally, you would know,
Because
and
you
I
wanted to
just kept
belong.
that. Sorry?
I said because you wanted to belong, so you just had
Yeah, I
to.
wanted to belong and I didn't want to basically stand out or stick out and,
Yeah.
just be an object of ridicule or exposure or whatever. And I kept this up for about most of my secondary school years. I mean, as time went on, I did make friends. There were people that were still friends up to today.
Yeah.
I formed alliances. But one thing I learned in school during that period was I learned how to cover up.
Mm.
I learned how to hide in the open. I
Okay.
learned how to, just be there, be
But not there.
silent, and yeah, but not there, not to stand out or anything. So it was something I learned. And saying all this, I had a lot of love at home. It's not
Okay.
as if I was neglected or my parents or family were negligent. It was
Yeah.
just me. It was
Right.
just the way I was wired. I didn't like being told off. I didn't like, being questioned. For some reason, I didn't like sympathy.
Okay.
I didn't like people worrying or fussing over me. So I developed all these mechanisms and strategies and ways to cope. And this pretty
Lulu,
much went on into
Lulu,
secondary school. Yes, sorry.
let
Yeah.
me ask a question before we go on.
Okay.
Because I do hear of parents here who, let me use
Mm-hmm.
the word, yank their children from here, especially maybe sometimes they say, I mean, it's not the same thing with you, but some people,
Yes.
maybe if their kids are behaving badly at school here, they'll take them to Nigeria to sort them out and then yank them. So what were the
Yeah.
things you had to do just to fit in? I mean, I don't even like that idea of just taking the kids just like that. You had never
Yeah.
been to Nigeria, and you were
Yeah.
just taking work. What were the kind of things you had to do just to fit in?
Um, Number one, I had to change the way I spoke. My phoneme was stainless then. There was no hint of Nigeria in it. And anytime I opened my mouth, the whole class would be there. Some would be laughing, people would be staring. Even teachers would say that again. And it was as if I was the object of ridicule. So first of all, foremost, I had to start um, toning down the way
Your
I speak and trying to speak like everyone else.
okay.
Um, in my school, there was a lot of Yoruba speaking, a lot of communication, and I couldn't partake in that because I didn't understand what was being said. And uh, I tried, but I don't have the skill for languages. I also I had to play with them, play stupid games, do stupid pranks. Um, at break time, hang out with people I didn't really want to hang with because they just weren't my kind of people, you know. So I denied myself a lot of happiness, um, a lot of space of my own, just to, you know, make sure that I fitted in, or I was part of the group, or
Yeah.
accepted in a group.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, those are things that
That must
happen.
have been really, yeah, really tough. Really, really tough for 11, 12-year-old.
Yeah, it was, and that was the very first storm I recognized, and I internalized it, and as I said before, it followed me a long way into my life. You know, it became part of me. So I was able to blend in anywhere and get in and hide in plain view. So I'm in the crowd, but I'm not standing out, and it affected my education. It affected my results. It obviously affected my social life because I couldn't really give my all because I had this thing that almost became part of me. It was automatic,
Okay.
So I was denying expressing myself the way I am, who I am,
So,
what I really, want to be. It never transpired or showed itself in my
so
early years.
was it because of what you experienced as a child? So you felt if I show who I am, they would laugh at me because you showed me as in your accent, that was part of you then. You were laughing,
Yeah,
tickled. So was it translated into other areas of your life?
yes, 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 it did. So when I got to university, it was pretty much another transition.
Okay.
And, you know, if truth be told, I probably wasn't ready mentally to, you know, be thrown in the university. Well, not thrown, but, just go to
How old were you when you
university.
went to university?
I think I was 17 or 18. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah. But, yeah. And
But
it
that was
was,
that university in Nigeria or here or in England?
in Nigeria, in
In
Nigeria,
Nigeria.
in
Okay.
Nigeria. Yeah. So, it was pretty much the same. I met guys and, people who were much more exposed than I was. And, you know, I went into again, stand out. I was a small boy to them then. I was like, where's this one coming from? But I was always able to, you know, just get in there and, be part of the group,
Right.
and it's always important when I say be part of the group because that used to give me some kind of cover
Right.
to um, cover inadequacies, um, things that I didn't think were right about myself. I had a bit of confidence issue, and so there was always some kind of covering. And
So as long as you were part of the group, you were
as long as I
fine.
was part of the group, I was
Mm,
fine. You know,
mm.
then I mean, if as I said, all these things followed me. So the first storm was primary school, fitting in,
Yeah.
hiding, not expressing, sorry, secondary school, not expressing myself. University was pretty much the same. I think it was a bit more intense, you
Yeah.
know. Also, as a young guy, you want, at times I didn't have the financial backing that I desired,
Yeah.
and it affected me in a way, certain ways because some of the people I worked were friends were they had money, some didn't, but we just used to blend. But I always had this thing of I'm not enough, I'm not, I should be more than this, and I should be able to perform in different areas and stuff. But it never transpired.
Okay.
Left secondary school, sorry, left university, went to England, I went to England, studied, did my master's, started working, and I had been carrying these things around with me for a long time. It was like a storm. It was a storm in me. And
Because it was brewing.
the thing was that, yeah, it was brewing. And, it's one of the main things was that me as a person,
Yeah.
Lulu, what was being showed to the world was not really me.
Mm,
So I also had imposter syndrome because I wasn't showing my true self.
right.
At times I will laugh at jokes that are not funny because the whole world thinks it's funny, peer pressure, societal pressure and stuff like that. I just got caught up in all of that. And um yeah, it lasted for a long time. And also I now started getting agitated when I started working. I believed I could be more and do more.
When you say,
And
let me take you back. Sorry, just a minute. You
sure,
said you started
sure.
getting agitated. Can you explain that? Can you
Yes.
unpack that a bit for us?
Okay, so the agitation came from the fact that um, I know I'm quite intelligent,
Yeah.
but I know I'm articulate. I know um, I learn well
Yeah.
and I relate well. And I believed deep down inside that, career wise
Yeah.
and also financially, if I want to
Yeah.
keep it real, I could have been more. And the
Yeah.
agitation was I tried all things,
Okay.
all I could within my power then, and things were not happening.
Yeah.
Part of the agitation was, and up until today, I talk to people a lot. Easy to talk to,
Yeah.
and I'm also a solution provider. So for a long time, I have been, when people talk to me, I, give them a lot of advice and, direction,
Right.
counsel, and you see doors opening for them. You see people doing excellent stuff, and I look at myself and I'm like, come on, you know, physician heal thyself. It was, yeah, I never ever, well, not ever ever, but I was never happy within myself
Mm,
of, my development, my progress.
right.
I also had, what I'd been carrying from primary school, secondary school, all
Yeah.
these things are working
Yeah.
inside me, you know. So it was really, really, really big, And the funny thing and the most important thing, well, I wouldn't say it's the most important thing. Anybody that knew me
Mm,
and saw me,
mm,
even after I got married, marriage brings added pressure,
yeah.
it brings added responsibility,
Yeah.
and one thread I've had throughout my life, as far as like everybody, people that I meet, always expect me to do great things,
Right.
which is good. People saw greatness in me. People saw, so much potential in me, and
But you
there
never.
was a frustration that I knew it was there,
Okay.
but I could never pull it out for
Okay.
some reason,
Okay.
you know. So even people who close to me,
Yeah.
at times be like, this guy, how far now? What's going on? Why are you not here and not there? And I didn't have the answers. I really, really didn't have the answers. And, God knows I tried, you know. So these things were working in me. They were creating a storm in me, you know. And when people see me,
Yeah.
they're like, this guy, you don't have a problem. Because,
Oh, do you know,
I mean, yeah,
actually,
yeah,
remember I said to you, somebody actually said to me that when they saw the flyer, that,
yeah.
oh, Lulu, what storm does Lulu have? What storm has he been
Uh,
through? And I said, but when
yeah,
you're talking, Lulu, I just thought now
yeah,
that I knew you for a few years. And
yeah.
honestly, there was no way that I would have known that
Oh,
all of this was going on inside of you.
no, no. So part of my what I learned in primary school, I've been in secondary school. My
Yeah,
early years was, fronting, putting up a front. So it was easy. Well, it was easy. It was almost second nature. I didn't even have to think about it,
right,
you know.
right.
And yeah, and the thing was that people see me and they're like, this guy dresses well, he's calm, you know, lovely family.
Yeah,
They just see the trappings and they're like, no problem. You don't have a
yeah,
problem. You're
yeah.
good. And that too used to hurt because I used to feel like if only you knew, but I can't tell you. I had a
But
problem with
Lulu,
expressing myself.
why
Yeah.
couldn't you open up to someone? Let me ask that. Let's talk about that. Let's
You,
talk
you,
about
you,
that for.
you the honest truth
Yeah.
is that I didn't want to be vulnerable on that level, and I know people had their own issues that they were going through, and being an emotional person and being someone who quite private, I just thought that what, just do you. I'll be fine. I'll sort myself out. It wasn't. There's no profound reason. There's nothing I can go back into my past and hold on to and say, this is why. It's
Okay.
not as if I've been burnt before or what. No, that was just it. So
No, but
what
even
people
if
see,
we just if we go back to
sorry,
what you said and being yanked from here and
to
taken to
what?
Nigeria, I said if we go back. You remember you said, or rather, you just said now that you couldn't pinpoint what happened.
Yes.
But if we even look just back at what you said at a young age, taken to Nigeria for the first time, put in a school,
Yeah.
and then just having to try to fit in, that's enough to change anyone. I mean, it's left a scar. You
It
might think
probably
it's
did. Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
You honestly, I'm sure if you spoke to a therapist, they will tell you that
Mm.
that left a huge scar.
I'm not going to argue. It's quite possible, and yeah, yes. So what people always saw in me. So
Yeah.
when you see a duck in a pond, you just see something moving elegantly, and you're
Mm.
like, wow, this duck is moving. But when you dig deep, if you look below
Yes.
the water,
Yes.
you see its legs just
Yes.
paddling really
Yes.
fast. That
Yes.
was my mind. That
Wow.
was my brain. Those were my emotions. So you see the calmness, but there was always turmoil. There was always one anxiety, one thought, things were just heavy and it was brewing for years and years. It was really, really brewing. And, you know, it even stopped me from enjoying things that I should enjoy, little wins,
Mm.
little victories, successes.
Right.
I learned and I can celebrate friends and family, and I'm the first to call, to congratulate, but even when I have small wins, it's as if it's not enough. You know, it wasn't done properly. Maybe there was a stroke of luck, or I could have done better. You
Right.
know, I was never satisfied with myself. And, you know, all this, I mean, I carried this for a long time. And as I said, I've always had support. I've always had people around me that, you know, wanted to, you know, just dig deeper. My wife has knocked my head so many times that this man talk. What's wrong with you? You know, I mean, I know she gets frustrated at times, you know,
Right.
but it was as if there was something locked in me.
Right.
And I think sometimes just after the big COVID uhaha, and also one other thing was that I wasn't running my life. I was letting life run me.
What
Again,
explain that?
agitation. So, you know, you're supposed to go out and seize the day.
Yeah.
You know, you're
Yeah.
supposed to go out and impact and, you know, create change and be something, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just used to wake up and I'm like, okay, I need to go to work. I need to do that. There was no passion. There was no fire. There
Mm.
was no, you know, if the wind blows like this, okay, well, they say we should go this way. If it blows like that, you know, there was no fight, you
Okay.
know. And again, I had to dig in
Yeah.
to, you know, just bring myself to a point that, you know what, this isn't me. So I think the change for me came.
Yeah.
So right now we've spoken about 5 different storms that were raging in me, you
Right.
know, and you know, really bringing me down.
Hmm.
So there was one day I was watching TV,
Yeah.
and I think it was around just before the American elections. I was watching TV, and there was so much back and forth,
Yeah.
and I just realized one thing. So some Democrat guy will talk, and I'm like, yes, you're correct. Republican guy will talk, yes, you're correct. You know, I was like, come, I'm agreeing with both sides of the story. What exactly do I believe? You know, why don't I have my own um, opinions?
Right.
And I don't know, that was just a light bulb moment. I now started looking at my whole life. I just said, you know what? Enough of this. You know, let me be me. Let me show the value that's locked up in me. You know, I'm going to stop fronting. I'm going to stop being the people's man. I'm going to be myself. And whoever doesn't like it should take a hike.
Wow.
You know, that was that was the discussion I had with myself. And, you know, and but to do that, I had to discover who I was. So, you know,
Yes.
I'm like, so
So
who am I?
yes.
What do I believe in? What
Yeah.
are my values?
Mm.
And I just realized that I had masks, you
Wow.
know, too many masks. There were so many layers of me
That
that
you had
were not
so
really me. I was just wearing the mask. So, you know, taking them off was even a struggle. You
wow.
know, I know this, you know, I did in silence. There was no announcement, there was
Mm.
no noise,
Mm.
there was no, you know, shaking,
Mm.
there was no fights, you know.
Right.
I started defining myself, who I want to really be, what I want to be, where I want to stand. You
Wow.
know, I realized that I have been doing ordinary all my life, which is fine. Ordinary is good. But when you know inside of yourself that you are
Yeah.
extraordinary,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
frustration.
Yeah.
And I know, you
Wow.
know, I'm not boasting people, but I am extraordinary, you know. I have so much value to give,
Yeah.
so much energy to give, so much impact,
Yeah.
you know, that I want to impart on the world and my children, my wife, you know, everything. And I was like, no. I looked around me, you know, my family have always been there, always been supportive. It was me that wasn't opening up. They
Right.
were always there, you
Okay.
know, and I was like, no, you know, I need to be the best, what's the word? The best, I forgot the word, but the best version of myself. That was it. So I was really working at low resolution Lulu, where I should be in HD, you know. And I actually felt good when I started this journey, you
Wow.
know. But yeah, so there are three things. We're talking about weathering the storm. So there's three things that I really helped me weather all the storms
Yeah.
that I was going through.
Yeah.
Number one, you should know yourself. Just be true to yourself.
Mm.
Forget what people think, forget what people say. As long as you're working within legal parameters,
Yeah.
you're not being a threat to people's lives,
Yeah.
and you may hurt people when you want to be yourself, but if you're being true to yourself,
Yeah.
just express who you are, be who you are,
Be who you
who
are.
you want to be, go for it. So Shakespeare is the one that says, first of all, know thyself.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was the first
First
thing.
step, know
The
thyself.
second,
Okay. Yep.
yes. Then the second and third thing are, almost similar, was to change yourself, you need courage.
Mm.
And courage is
Mm.
is, is, is something that, a lot of people do not have.
Yeah.
The courage to say no,
Mm.
the courage to say yes,
That
the
must have
courage
been,
to,
let me interrupt, sorry.
yeah,
That must have been
yeah.
difficult for you. Someone who had always been a people pleaser, that must have been difficult. How did you overcome that?
Uh, you know what? As I said, I used to be emotional and I used to invest myself in people's emotions. I didn't like upsetting people.
Yeah.
I wanted everybody to be happy,
Yeah.
everybody to feel good. So, when that part came about, when I say it was easy, it's I don't know, it was just an automatic switch. So it's something that I didn't have to think about too much. I
Okay.
just defined my parameters, I defined my boundaries, and just went about being who I feel I should be, and change is silent.
Did you have
You don't
to
always see it.
did you
Sorry?
have to redefine some of your relationships with friends, some of your
Oh yeah, definitely. 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 Yes, I did. I had to redefine some relationships, had to let some go. You know, some people I actually drew closer because I drew strength from them.
okay.
Um, I have some great friends that, we share a lot, and, there was strength. My wife is always there, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, so I did have to redefine some relationships, set boundaries, parameters, and just move on. It was my time to be selfish, so I didn't feel bad about it. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't feel
Sometimes
bad
you
about
need
it.
to be.
Yeah. Then also, another thing you need is boldness. So courage is one thing, boldness is the other, to actually take that step and
Mm.
be and do and just work at it. And you know I'm still journeying, but I've seen changes in my life. I'm happier.
Fantastic.
I'm a more genuine person than I've ever been. I have
Yeah.
more clarity
Okay.
on where I want to be, where I want to go, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. That's it.
Do you know, as honestly, do you know, listening to you, Lulu, I'm actually emotional, and I'll tell you why. It's
Yeah.
because I see, I'm trying to imagine the number of people who are in your shoe, or
Oh yeah,
where
there are
you were before
lots of
now.
people.
Yeah, where you were before.
Mm. Yeah,
And
yeah,
they won't come out because,
yeah.
again, imposter syndrome. Oh, they don't want to rock the boat. But you came out,
Mm, mm,
but you go through it. So, Lulu, what would you say to a man, or maybe even a woman, because who is
yeah,
where you were? What would you say to them?
yeah,
How do they get to that place where, I know it took years and years and years for you to get to
yeah,
where you were
yeah,
now. But what would you
yeah.
say?
I'll just tell the person to, lick your wounds, stop feeling sorry for yourself, and move on. Yeah, that's what I'll say. Life is about hard knocks. Life will happen.
Mm.
And at times we can't control life, but we control our reaction to it.
Yeah.
So it's for the guy to stand up, bootstrap himself, and move on. You
Mm.
know, you wouldn't be that hard. It depends on the person's temperament. Some people actually need professional help.
Yeah.
Some people may need a support system.
Yeah.
Some people may need some form of counseling. So obviously, if the guy is my friend, I'll be there to hold his hand. But
Yeah.
the first thing I'll tell the person is define yourself.
Mm.
Who do you really want to be? What do you want to be?
Mm.
What are the things that frustrate you about yourself?
Yes.
What is the things frustrate you about other people? Because there's one
Yeah.
thing you being frustrated with yourself.
Yeah.
Another thing is about you being angry with the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you just get the person talking, deciding, and you need to provide a safe space for
Mm.
that person to express themselves.
Mm.
You know, some people, well, most people really want some kind of you know, close relationship. I'm talking to you. Don't tell anybody else about it. Just move on. Some people just want to talk. They don't even want you to um, talk. So sometime last year, I did a bit of listening room.
Okay.
So I just got people to come in and just talk about anything. And the response I
So what was it
got
called?
was
Was it
was,
called
was
listening room? Is that what you said?
yeah, I called it a listening room. Yeah,
Oh,
and
it's so nice.
you just find out that some people just want to talk and people are going through so many things
Mm. Mm.
and you would never know. One other gift I have is even strangers,
Yeah.
not to talk of people I know, at times they start telling me intimate things about their lives, their life, their problems, their issues. And at times I'm like, come, why are you telling me this thing is so heavy? But it's to trust people. People just saw that thing in me that, I'm easy to talk to. I can, you know, pour. And so I've been privy to a lot of things happening to a lot of different people.
Right.
So I know that almost everyone in the world has some kind of issue, something they're
We
dealing
all
with.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, and some people are masters at wearing masks. You never know, you know. And this life it is what it is. You can't go around trying to look at is this person wearing a mask or not? You have to live your life.
Mm.
You have to
Mm.
live your life. But what I'll say is that where you find people who are having problems and they're ready to talk to you,
Yeah.
I think you should take it as some kind of privilege and honor.
Yeah.
And, with all integrity and humility, try and help that person and assist them.
Yeah.
And also, if you're going through stuff and you need to talk, just try and find whoever
Yeah.
and talk to the person. It may be a stranger, that's called park bench therapy. If you watch Forrest Gump, you would have seen that. You just go to a park bench and, when a stranger comes, you just sit down and, just talk.
I
People
never.
like to listen.
This is the first time I'm hearing park bench therapy.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Never heard of
Yeah.
that. Well, that's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
Sometimes
You see
it's
that.
sometimes
Yeah.
it's easy to talk to a stranger because they don't know anything
Oh,
about.
yes. Oh, yeah. It's very common in England. I mean, especially amongst the elderly.
Yes. Yes,
You
they do that.
say hi to an old woman in Tesco, and before you know it, she's telling you about her grandchildren. Well, that's when the world was a bit safer. But
Yeah.
but people do it. And another thing I will say
Yeah.
is because I read a lot and I read from various sources.
Mm.
At times, when you're going through stuff and you start reading about it, you can read the good, the bad, and the ugly,
Mm.
and it can start affecting you. social media will expose you to the demons of this world. Eh? People will come out with such well-crafted tweets and posts, and you'll be like, "This is true," but you know what? It's the stairway to hell. So one needs to be careful, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it starts feeding your mind with all sorts of ideas and things. I remember during COVID, when COVID was the first lockdown, my wife was like, "Switch that TV off. I don't want to watch the news anymore," because all we were hearing was that we're all gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody's going to be dead by the end of the year, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it was real scaremongering.
Mm.
But that's COVID. You have it in all areas
Yeah.
over the internet. It's a dangerous place,
Yeah.
but it's also a good result, resource if you know how to use it properly. But
Absolutely. Yeah.
at times, don't overthink things, don't over process things, and don't overstudy, because at times you will have a small pimple on your ear, and you go to
Good.
the internet, and you will find out that, oh, people have different opinions. And
Yes. Yes.
yeah, so I'm in a happy place now. I'm good. um yeah,
Okay. Let me
that's it.
let
Yeah,
me go back to something. Hmm. Now, oh, I met you at Jesus' house, at our local
yes,
church. So you
yes,
were coming to church, right?
yeah.
I want to
Mm-hmm.
believe that you had a relationship with God or Jesus then.
Yes, I did.
So where
Did.
did they play a part in helping you to cope? Because the other question I was going to ask was there any time you felt depressed? Was there any time you felt, look, I can't take this anymore? So how did your relationship with God help with all of this? Or now that you've come out, is it better? Because just talk us through how all of this helped, if at all it did.
So, okay. So, one thing I am sure of,
Yeah,
and it's unshakable
yeah,
throughout my whole life,
yeah.
the grace of God, the
Yeah.
protection of God, and the provision of God has
Mm,
always been there.
right.
You know, I always know God has never been far. He's
Great.
never far away. So the problem was me.
Okay.
So I've never doubted God. The
Okay.
ability to do things was, or the non-ability to do things was, it was always me. So I've always had a relationship with God.
Okay.
I've always known that come what may, God will provide for me.
Mm,
Come what may, God will protect me.
right.
Come what may, God's grace over my life
Okay.
is serious.
Right.
Because even, and my wife can attest to it, even when things were really tough,
Yeah.
nobody knew. People will see you from afar. They'll be hailing you that, this guy, you're enjoying it. And you're like, this guy, keep quiet, in your mind. But you just smile it off and say, yeah, yeah, things are all right. Things are good, you know. Yeah, but God, I've always had a relationship with
Okay.
God, and it has grown, obviously deeper.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I mean that's it really. My prayer life is better. My reliance on God my faith is strong. It's strong, and it's coming and it's cool.
Okay. Good.
Yeah,
The other
yeah,
question I was going to ask, so when you met your lovely wife
yeah,
and you had all these internal storms going on,
yeah.
you say anything to her, and how did that affect your relationship? Actually, let's start with that. So how did it
Um,
affect your relationship?
it didn't really affect it in the sense that I mean things were always good.
Okay.
Obviously we've had our challenges as a married couple, but
Like we all do.
um yeah, like we all do. But I think especially after marriage, Leia can talk. She likes talking things over, and I'm the kind of guy that, okay, we can see that these things do not work and we know what the problem is. So let's just, it's okay. She will want to talk and analyze and tear apart. And I'm like, mm-mm, it's okay. So that was, it frustrated her a lot.
Okay.
Then also, um, maybe, um, obviously she knows I have a lot of potential and she didn't see it being fulfilled. So
Mm,
I guess that was a frustration for her,
right. Right.
and it impacted on the relationship a bit. But as I said, we're in a good place,
Good. How long have you guys
and
been married
you
for
know,
now?
16 years.
Wow. My
Yeah,
goodness.
16 years. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a long time. It's a long time. We will soon get a clock to celebrate years. And
I
yeah,
said, maybe 60. I know it's
yes.
a long time. 30 years is a long time.
Ah,
As the,
for
I have the what do they call it now? The award.
okay, well, yes, I mean, when I
No,
when I meet
seriously,
people, and
60 years in this day and age, 16 years is a long time, to be
oh
honest.
yes, it is,
It's a
of
long
course,
time.
of course. But even when I meet young couples, and they say, "How long have you been?" And they say 5 years. I'll be like, "I said, well, you just started 5 years. That's you're still a learner stage."
Let us stay true, true.
Yeah, yes.
True.
But
Okay,
yeah, we've been married 16 years, and yeah, it's all good.
it's good. We thank God. I'm so happy that good job. Yes, I have the trophy. Okay, you have two children. What
Yeah.
are the things that you're intentionally doing now in terms of raising them up that you didn't have when you were being raised up?
One of the things I intentionally do, I get them talking.
Okay.
I try and get them comfortable just
Okay.
to talk to me,
Okay.
just to express how they feel,
Right.
what they're going through, their fears, their challenges,
Okay.
you know. Um, Obviously, as a father and, being a much older person than them, I get them to talk, with at times directly, at times indirectly, but I let them talk.
Okay.
I let them express themselves and just to know what's going on in their head
Mm.
and also identify traits that may not be good. The
Yeah.
ones that are, help them channel them in the right way.
Yeah.
I well, although my wife is more involved in it, I want to know who their friends are.
Okay. Okay.
You know, so that is it really. Express yourself more.
Mm-hmm.
Don't keep things locked up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, we're here for you.
Yes.
We're on your side. We're one team.
Yes. Yes.
Then also goal setting.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
It's one of the biggest things that a man can have. When I say a man, a human being can have is discipline.
Yes. Yes.
If
Yes. We all need
you're a
discipline.
disciplined person, you're on your way to greatness.
Mm.
You're
Mm.
almost there. Discipline, and you know, it's something that a lot of us lacked growing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, you mentioned before you put me on, you were talking about yuppies.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a generational gap.
Yeah.
So my daughter calls me old school, and I take it with accolades of I'm old school. So I do things the old way. But we also need to realize that there's a bridge and there's a gap,
Yeah.
and at times we don't see
Mm-hmm.
through that gap. We see things from our own lenses. So I also try and learn from them.
Yes. Yeah.
What's happening. So when they're talking and they mention one thing and this or that, I go on the internet. At times I'm like, what? And things like what they wear at times. I'm like, come on, what's going on? How can you go out like this? And they're like, oh no, daddy, that's what people wear nowadays. And I'm like, really? and their friends will walk, especially my son, his friends will walk in and they're all dressed, and I'm like, okay, and at times I'm the old man in the house, telling them, no, you can't do that, and I'm like, but daddy, everybody, I'm like, no, it's not about everybody does it, but
Mm.
or they'll tell me I'm politically incorrect by saying certain words, and I'm
Oh
like, oh,
yeah.
I'm not allowed to say
Oh
that in public anymore.
yeah.
Ah, okay. And I'm like, I beg, I'll say it. So they're like, Dad, it's crucial in Nigeria. If you go to the Western world, you will get in trouble. So yeah, I try and teach them about fairness.
I love that.
How to be fair, how to share, how to recognize other people's needs and wants, respect people's spaces, and just generally be a decent human being.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and it is intentional.
Yeah.
We were told, don't do this, don't do that. And there was draw a line. If you pass that line, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, well, we need to be, more intentional because this world is fast paced. The pace is electric, and you find out that you don't know what's going on in your child's life. You can't speak the language,
Yeah.
and you're lost. You're
Yeah.
just lost to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow. Well done. I'm so proud of you, Lulu.
yeah.
Seriously, because I'm
Thank
thinking
you.
of the Lulu that you have, despite everything, the storms,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I love who you are now. But I mean, I've always loved you, you know that. But even
Mm,
just
yeah.
listening to you, I'm thinking, my goodness, he is such a fine gentleman and a good father, and I'm
Thank
sure
you.
a great husband too. Well done,
Yeah.
Lulu. Well done.
Thank you
Well
so
done.
much.
Well done.
Thank you so
But
much.
I want to ask another question before we go,
Yeah,
because I want to find out if what I'm going to ask you, would have made a difference. And I'm
yeah,
asking it for me and probably for our listeners. Do you
yeah,
think when you were going through those terms, remember I said to you, I've known you, I mean, I'm sure we've had conversations before.
yeah,
We worked in the same department at church.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
just wonder
yeah.
if someone had actually sat down with you, maybe me or maybe one of the person, somebody else, had sat
Mm,
down with you one day and or maybe taking you out for a meal and just said,
mm.
Lolu, what's going on with you? Are you okay? Would you have opened up then, do you think?
Nah, I wouldn't.
Really?
I wouldn't have. No, I think for me it was a coming out for myself by myself. I don't think I was um in that place that I just wanted to talk about. I didn't like talking about myself, so
So nothing would
that
have
was
made
just
a
it.
difference.
No, 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 nothing. I didn't like talking about myself. I had that knack. I can sit down with somebody for 3 hours and the person's talking about themselves and they're like, oh, we haven't even spoken about you. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, my train's in 20 minutes. I need to go. Yeah,
So
but,
you were able to, you had that mask
oh,
on.
yes. Oh, yes, yes, yes. But
Wow.
the masks are off now. So, yeah, I talk freely now. Yeah,
Okay. So what?
yeah.
Ask the question, please. You can ask him questions if you got any. So the question is, I gather you now live in Nigeria. So what made you move to Nigeria as an adult after the storms you experienced as a child in Nigeria?
Hmm, good question. It was my move to Nigeria was really economic. I was doing quite well in England financially, contracting, had a bit of money in the bank, and there were opportunities in Nigeria then. And I decided to, you know, okay, so part of me was like, everybody's going on. People are saying that there's money in Nigeria, there's money to be made. And I had connections there in high places.
Yeah.
So I decided to go. And here we are.
Okay.
So that's, yeah, I didn't really think about, um, at times when these storms are going on,
Yeah.
or, when these things are going on, you don't really think about it. They're there. You don't think about, it's just part of you and you get on with it. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you, sorry, going back to the question I asked before about if someone had sat with you. One of the reasons why
Mm,
I asked that question was because, you know, you hear about people who commit suicide and stuff like that. And
mm,
you hear people say, but they didn't say anything. And I just spoke to her yesterday. I just spoke to him yesterday. So I keep
mm,
trying to figure out, is it something that we've done wrong? Could we have done better? Is there something that we could have said? But I mean, I've heard different people say that there's nothing really, except the person is ready. In your own case, I guess it's until you were ready before you could change, before you come out.
yeah. So what tends to happen? I mean, thank God I've never been suicidal.
Thank
I've
God.
never gotten that extreme. But what you find out is that people reveal different parts of themselves to different people.
Okay.
So, you can have a friend that you're talking about your financial frustrations. You can have one you're talking about your professional frustrations.
Yeah.
You may talk to somebody about marital frustrations, but they're compartmentalized. So you're not laying all on one person,
Okay. Okay.
you know. But, the problem is when you have a person who doesn't talk to anybody at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when somebody withdraws from society or from life, or as you said, there's some people you never know. That everybody's carrying some kind of burden, and some people are really heavy. And
Okay.
the honest truth is that some people can't articulate what's
What's
going
going on?
on, what's
Yeah.
going on. Yeah, they cannot articulate it, and it's very frustrating when you're trying to tell somebody what's going on and the person doesn't understand, or the person just brushes you off. I beg, this. Are you the only one?
Mm,
Or,
that's the worst thing you
you
can say
know,
to someone.
exactly. Or they're like, okay, no problem. And you don't see any form of the reaction you want.
Yeah.
Is not there. At times, it's not about what you want, but
Yeah.
the what you get back in return is something that you don't like. So some people just they keep quiet and
So
they get on
during
with it.
this period, Lulu, so there was never a time that you opened up to anyone. Did you ever share anything at all with anyone?
But one or two people, yeah, at certain times. But I was the strong guy, so
So even when you
nothing
shared, you
shaking.
still had that, oh,
Yeah, it's guy, I'm going through this, or babe, this is what I'm thinking, and but even at that, you know, you're just sharing a little bit,
mm,
maybe 1/10. There's another 90% going on somewhere else,
okay.
and yeah, and it's life.
Okay.
But from my experience, especially with people and people I've spoken to,
Yeah.
there's a lot of heaviness in people's hearts and in people's minds. And, you know, um, we just need to be very sensitive towards, I mean, I'm not talking about eggshell sensitive. When somebody
Yeah.
opens up to you, fine. Some people, when you try and open them up, they will withdraw deeper into whatever they are.
Yeah.
So it's a skill. You need to be perceptive. You need to be wise. You
Yeah.
need to know how to, when to, and if to.
Okay.
So yeah, and at times some people don't even want to talk. You don't need to talk to them about it. You just need to show some love, show some concern, and
Yeah. Just be there,
you
show
know,
love. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. You got a question. How easy,
Okay.
how difficult or easy was it for you to be open with your wife?
Hmm. Why are you asking me this question? um,
You don't have to answer it.
it's uh,
You
it
don't.
it it it's not difficult. She's there to listen, and as I keep on saying, it's me. that hasn't always been that transparent or
Yeah.
that expressive in how I felt.
Okay.
I just thought that, look, you know what? I'm enough wahala for you as I am. So let me not start adding on
Adding
layers to, yeah. So it was also to protect her from getting agitated, getting upset, getting worried. So yeah, it's you let go in dribs and drabs. Thank you, whoever asked that question, for putting me in trouble. But let's go on. Yeah.
But please, okay, to the gentlemen on, can I say something, please? Women, we want to know. It's not adding wahala to our, women, we can cope. Seriously, we can cope with a lot of this stuff. We can handle it by the grace of God. So please, gentlemen, please speak to us. Please open up. And it's just to help you. We're a helpmate. Anyway, let's move on, as Lodi said. um, so, Lolu, what advice will you give to your young self, someone in your old shoes today? What advice will you give to your younger self?
I'll tell them to, be yourself,
Okay.
um, be bold, be courageous, try and be decent, be progressive, be aggressive in the right places, be protective of people who love you, appreciate them, um, show a lot of love, be ambitious, and always speak out.
Oh,
When you have problems, find somebody to talk to.
yeah,
A safe space.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I tell them.
Great. Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much. Lolu, you have been so vulnerable. I really, really do appreciate that. And I know that everyone that's on to, we appreciate you. Leye, we love you. Thank you for being there for him throughout all these years. Um, and oh God, can we show him some appreciation, please? Can we just let him know that we love you? Yes, can you see Bolanle? Your call was good. That was your H. Was she was your HOD, wasn't she?
Which Bola letter?
Oga B. Bolanle
Ogabi.
Bakare.
My HOD. She's my Oga. Ogabi. Yeah. So that's my Oga right there.
Yeah. Thank you so much. No, we really do appreciate
Okay.
it. This has been
Okay then. Thank you so
really,
much.
really good. Really,
Thank you
really
so
good.
much.
And
Yeah.
like, you remember when I was excited about you coming on?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been good. I'm
Yeah.
hoping that next week, there's a gentleman that I'm hoping will come on next week too. I hope he comes
Okay.
because I want to
Okay.
see more men come and share. Um, because I know I personally believe that our men are struggling, but they
Yeah.
don't talk. But if they see more
Nah.
gentlemen open up, then can you see the special love from your
Yeah.
wife? Can you see the heart, the pink heart?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
I saw it. Yeah. Yeah. So
so
I want to thank you for giving me the platform to be here. Just opening up this place for me, and thank you for having me. I would normally not have done this, but
oh,
Pastor Finke, you're special. So you
thank you.
you you made it happen, and I'm grateful. I'm very, very, very
I
grateful. But I'm not taking it lightly. I really, really appreciate it. I appreciate your ministry. I've seen you change,
yes.
from the very shy introvert to, hey, and
Do you know,
I'm
I'm
very
still very
proud of you.
reserved. I'm still very reserved.
Okay,
It's just when I
yeah,
come on Hangout
okay,
Cafe that but I'm still reserved. But I have changed. I mean,
okay,
definitely. I mean, I wouldn't have done
yeah.
this